Not gonna lie, I really was hoping to take a break from talk about anything anime related for at least a day or two, of course, because obviously I've been dropping nonstop reviews back to back. But today I want to talk about something that's a little bit on the controversial side, and I think if anyone who has watched my best animes of 2023 specifically, there's one anime that was excluded from my best animes of 2023, and that is the remake or readaptation of Rurouni Kenshin. Now, if you heard of Rurouni Kenshin, this anime is pretty synopsis. It's pretty infamous at this point. It is probably one of the biggest, most influential animes to come out of the shonen anime genre. Because obviously, given that this is a readaptation of a classic anime from back in the day, the original anime was from back in 1996. And this one is beloved by many. I remember this growing up as in my childhood, and I consider this to be like a classic among classics for how amazing the sword fighting, the fight sequences, the voice acting, everything about the show was really great. And obviously, the art design for its time period was super, super ahead for its 90s aesthetics. So it is pretty sad and shameful to say that, yes, while we did get a really good readaptation from its 2023 release of Rurouni Kenshin, it's sad to find out that the author, Nobuhiro what God, I can't even pronounce his name, Watsuki Nobuhiro, is unfortunately accused of some pretty heinous crimes that, unironically, I didn't find out till a few years ago, believe it or not. And this was after I finished watching the readaptation of Rurouni Kenshin. And again, I'm not going to display like what he got charged for, but let's just say he got charged for possessing some pretty naughty, not so like illegal shit on his hard drive that he shouldn't be having at all. And we're not talking like the most fucked up hentai out there, like that one hentai I just talked about in a recent video. No, we're talking about like some actual fucked up people that's in those hard drives, and I'm not even gonna elaborate what it is. But when finding out about this and diving deep into like, the story, the news articles, it's pretty sad that this beloved author had such an amazing and possibly an influential momentum in the manga industry and the anime industry, and so many big figures looked up to him, to the point that when people were trying to like get him vouched back to go back to writing manga and get him published again, a lot of people were negatively support not in support of this. There's some big authors that were in support of this failure to hoping that Watsuki Nobuhiro can go back to dropping some new chapters for Rurouni Kenshin or other spin-offs of his manga show. And in a sense, like looking at the whole controversy, even finding about this a couple years ago too, mind you, it made me honestly feel super uncomfortable and not want to talk about Rurouni Kenshin from not only my best anime 2023 video, but just in general. Because again, when you have such an author be do this to his reputation in such a negative way that it just changes the whole outlook of what you released as a result, you really cannot look at this the same way now. And look, hey, you could probably come up to me and say, hey, why not separate the art from the artist, right? Because that's what matters at the end of the day. Separate the art from the artist. Well, if I did that, then I feel like I would be in the Kanye quote right here, right now, more or less. But all jokes aside, like I pretty much don't know if I can even do that with this show. Like again, the show's still beloved. I still respect the show to this day. But given the background, given the author and what he has committed, it's really hard for me to really not only dive into Roy Kenshin in a positive manner, but just honestly just mentioning it in general. And with its readaptation from 2023, yes, we did get a season 2 last year, 2024, which I heard was actually a lot better than the first season. And undoubtedly, there is going to be a season 3 coming up in the near future of this readaptation. But am I going to be checking it out? Am I going to be watching it? Sadly, no. I just don't feel comfortable watching a show where so much ink has been spilled regarding the background within this show, within this franchise, that it really just leaves a bad sour taste in my mouth. So, in a nutshell, this is one of those unique cases where I just can't talk about the show nor acknowledge it for how influential it is. Again, I do respect Rurouni Kenshin to the degree that it really did influence a lot of shonen animes to this day, but I cannot simply look at this show and this franchise the same way as it is now, given what we know about the author, the creator of Watsuki Nobuhiro himself. So yeah, I think this is just a bit of a video to clarify why I did not mention this show back in my best animes of 2023 list, because it did was one of the best out there, but unfortunately I cannot talk about it in the matter after finding out more info about this, because I just found out about this like a couple years ago, and me going back and someone even bringing up this whole thing like, hey, how come you didn't mention this in your best anime video of 2023? Like, what's going on? This is more or less my explanation as to why. So yeah, hopefully this clears up a lot of things. But yeah, Rurouni Kenshin, it's a shame I can't watch the show. I can't acknowledge it as it is. Watsuki Nobuhiro, pretty much a big scumbag from what I can tell, and there's no reason to really support him nor his works given the huge crimes that he's committed, more or less. And yeah, that's really about it. I'll see you on the next one. Later.